This is going to be the beginning of our review of our installation of the cable bullet rail system. We used a TimberTech Radiance rail, top rail and bottom rail, and then we have our own cedar wrapped posts. We have TimberTech post covers, and this is the section we're going to be completing today. The section's approximately 16 feet long. This is a section that's already been completed. You can see the installation of the bullets here. This is on the cedar wrapped post. Those are the extra long bullets. We'll show you how to install those in a minute. We use the intermediate bullets on the center posts, so the cable's passing through those, and you can see it completes down there. We wound up with 10 runs for each section, and that worked out to give us our top handrail height at exactly 42 inches, which is exactly what we wanted. You can see the project's not completed yet, as we've got grass growing in the bottom, and our pergola and fire pit is almost complete. But we're going to show you how to install the cable bullet rail system step by step. The first step in our process was to install the TimberTech bottom rail and the top rail system, and we used the TimberTech intermediate balusters in the center for a pass through here for support for the cable. We had to wind up cutting almost 3 inches off of that, so to give us 10 runs. And the first step in the process, we used a scrap intermediate baluster to set our spacing, and we're going to show you how we marked the holes on the cedar wrapped post and on the posts that are covered with the composite cover. So our first step was to mark the locations of the holes, and then we used a 3/16 drill bit to drill a pilot hole, which the 3/16 size fit perfectly with the TimberTech, the hole in the baluster there. So that's what we used to set our initial spacing. We'll show you how that's set up shortly. Okay, the first step after we have our intermediate baluster leveled and spaced the same on the top and the bottom rail, we're going to drill 3/16 pilot holes in each of these to mark our hole locations. We're going to do that on each end post as well as the intermediate post. Okay, we're going to drill the pass-through holes in this intermediate post, and this is a 4x4 post with a 5x5 TimberTech composite cover. So again, we're using the TimberTech intermediate baluster that we used as a guide for our 3-inch hole spacing. We're going to drill a 3/16 pilot hole in this. We'll do this on each side, and then I come back through and I'll drill one hole through both, all the way through the post, to ensure that we've got a good pass-through. Okay, the next step we're going to do is what I found to be helpful in the process, just to keep alignment straight and keep the bullets centered, was I picked up this 1/4 inch drill bushing fixture with a real long 1/4 inch drill bit, and we're going to drill a 1/4 inch pilot hole the depth of the bullet. So we drill, you see I've got that set just a little longer than the depth of the bullet. So on each post, I'm going to put this on there and drill a 1/4 inch hole to that depth, and then we'll follow up after that and drill the 1/2 inch hole for the bullet to thread into. This got the drill fixture, and this drill was like 30 bucks on eBay, but I found it to be pretty helpful, just to make sure that if you're drilling the pilot holes, you're drilling a nice straight hole, so that the half-inch hole that you have to drill to thread the bullet in stays straight as you're drilling that. Okay, the next step after we have our 1/4 inch pilot holes drilled to the proper depth for the bullets is on the cedar wrapped posts. We have a 5/8 inch drill bit, and this is actually turned down with a 1/2 inch shank, but a 5/8 bit. We've got it marked to approximately 1 inch depth, so we're actually going to just drill a clearance hole through the cedar wrap, and then we'll come back after that. We'll drill a 1/2 inch hole for the whole depth of the bullet, so the bullet can thread into that. So we're going to drill our 5/8 hole into the cedar as clearance for right now. Okay, for our composite covered posts, these are pass-through posts, so these take the small intermediate cable bullet. So for these posts, instead of drilling the 5/8 clearance or a 1/2 inch through, we're actually drilling 9/16 hole just through the composite cap, because the intermediate bullets will only thread into the composite cover and they will not go into the wood posts, since these are pass-through and there's no tension on those cables. Okay, we're now installing the intermediate cable bullets. You can see that's a picture. We opted for the intermediate cable bullet that has the washer on it, similar to the washer for the cedar wrapped bullet, or the extra long bullet. So that gives us a good clean look. You can see 2 of those are already installed. You can see they send you a nice little driver tool. I'm sure you could use a power tool for this, but I chose just a 5/16 socket and ratchet. Put those in. That goes into our 9/16 hole. Screw that in. Usually just try to spin them all around so that they're all aligned in the same direction. Gives you a nice clean look. And again, we've already drilled the hole all the way through, so these are just going to be for a pass through. There's no tension, so this is purely just for appearance and aesthetics to give you this look. Okay, you can see now we have all of the intermediate bullets installed. Gives us a nice clean look for the cable to pass through. A lot better than some of the installations you'll see that might just have a bare hole. Gives you a nice clean look. Now we'll go on to install and sink the bullets into the cedar wrapped post. Okay, the next step is we're going to drill our 1/2 inch hole. We've got this piece of tape on the drill bit that's set to the depth of the bullet, so that we get adequate room for the bullet to thread into the post. And the reason we chose to go with drilling the 5/8 hole after or before we drilled the 1/2 inch hole is we tried it once before, and when you drill the 5/8 hole into a 1/2 inch pilot, it really kind of splinters the cedar a little bit more. So we felt or saw that when we drilled the 5/8 first with a 1/4 inch pilot, and then came back through and drilled the 1/2 inch into depth, it gave us a lot cleaner hole. So now we're going to drill the 1/2 inch holes, and after we do that, we'll be ready to sink the bullets and then put our cable in. Okay, we're ready to now sink the bullets. You can see we've already got the first two sunk into the post. You can see that the bullets have this slotted keyway. That's actually threaded passage where the set screw goes in, which will tension your cable. That's actually also what you use to drive the bullet into the post. It comes with this driver bit, which I've got into a 5/16 socket. That goes fits right into the bullet as such. You can see that keyway fits right into the slot. Now you're ready to drive it in. I'm sure you can use a power tool to do that. I was never real very comfortable with that, so I just chose to thread them in with a socket and ratchet. It takes a little longer, but I was always kind of afraid I'd strip something out, break something. These are the extra long bullets, so they've got a little more length in them on the regular ones. And I've got all mine set so that the set screw goes on the outside, so when we put the cable in, we'll have a nice clean look. All the set screws will be on the same side. You can see that by drilling that 1/2 inch hole in there, you really got a good bite into the post. Now we're ready to put 7 more in. Okay, we've now completed the installation of the bullets for the run. Got our intermediate bullets in. So now we're ready for cable installation. You see the cable on the first rail we did. Here's an adjoining rail. Spread it up next to our TV cabinet. Here's the look without cable. We'll show you what it looks like with cable shortly. Okay, we're now ready for cable installation. You can see this is a 5/32 cable versus a lot of standard ones are 1/8, so it's just a 30-second thicker. Plus it's a 7/7 strand versus a common 1/19 strand, so really a good high quality cable that the cable bullet guys are selling. So we'll start off, we'll begin by threading it through to that end, and then we'll install the crimp fittings. So pass through the first intermediate baluster, and we'll take it through. This is a pass-through post right here. Again, these are the small fittings. Sometimes that can be just a little tricky, but we actually ran another drill bit through afterwards to make sure we clean cable out some. Pull that through, thread that through this one again. Again, this is about almost a 16-foot run that we're coming down to. Okay, now we're ready for our crimp fittings. These come in packs provided with the bullets in runs. So the first thing that goes on is your lobed washer. That goes on, and that's what your set screw will actually adjust against to set your tension. That just slides on. And you've got a nice stainless crimp fitting. Put that on. All this comes as a kit with the bullets. Next, we're going to do the little hydraulic press with the crimp die. This is purchased separately, but it puts a nice crimp on there so that you can put that on the end of the cable, lock it down. Good enough. See, it gives us a nice flat crimp, nice round. And the lobed washer will go on there, and we'll put the set screw on, and we'll show you how to do that in a second. Stop. Okay, this is the set screw that goes into the bullet. See, we've got the crimp fitting on, the lobed washer that fits. Just slides in there. The lobed washer fits in, and you install the crimp fitting. what I did on the first one is I ran it in probably 2 or 3 turns, and then I'll go to the other end and find the length of cable I need, cut that, and install, do the same thing on the other end, and the first cable will be complete. Okay, to set the length of the cable, we got the other end already locked down. So we pull it tight, and they recommend 1 inch longer than the face to set your length. So since this is about the 80th time I've done this, I'm getting pretty good at just eyeballing it, but you can go, this is about a 1/2 inch, 5/8. I'll come off here and with another 1/4. And what I've been doing is just putting a little piece of tape there, marking my length. These nice wire cutters that the Cable Bolt guys sell you as well. Do a nice job of cutting the cable without frays. You can see, got my length set. Boom, cut. Gives it a nice clean cut. Now we'll install the fittings just like we did on the other end, and we'll have a completed run. Okay, we've got our end on the end of the first cable that we cut. So put that in there. You'll have just a slight bit of tension, not bad. Stick a fitting on there. Boom, one. Two. Three. So we got about 3 or 4 turns on there, kind of a pre-tension, and then we'll come back and we've got a nice little tension gauge. We'll set the final tension once we get everything done. But as you can see, the first run is in. Okay, this is going to be just an overview of the whole deck now that the railing is all complete. See that unfinished cabinet there, so disregard that, please. See the railing on the stairs really gave a nice clean look going down.